Here are 4 tight ends that we like at RotoWire in 2025 fantasy football drafts. Look, everybody likes Trey McBride, but I'm making a special point to call him out here because Trey McBride is commonly the second tight end off the board in fantasy football drafts. However, Trey McBride outperformed Brock Bowers after their respective bye weeks. Trey McBride and Brock Bowers played 8 and 7 games after that. Trey McBride was 2 points per game better in PPR scoring from that point on. The thing with Trey McBride is, as good as he was all year, he didn't really take off until after week 5 last year. What happened in Arizona? Well, they finally decided to get wide receiver Greg Dortch off the field, bring in a second tight end. Once they did that in week 5, Trey McBride averaged, this is week 6 on, 17.2 fantasy PPR points per game. Brock Bowers is an excellent player, but Trey McBride, it's a round later, and last year per game, because remember, McBride missed 1 game. They were within less than 1 fantasy point per game difference. Take the half round or full round discount with Trey McBride and get yourself 2 great players as opposed to getting Brock Bowers and a downgrade at receiver. We love Trey McBride as the tight end 1. Next tight end we love is Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys. And you'll remember last year with a lot of disappointment, 494 yards and 0 touchdowns. That was terrible. However, Dak Prescott played a little less than half a season. What did Jake Ferguson do in the 7 games with Dak Prescott? 3 of those games, Ferguson had at least 70 yards. In 4 of those 7 games, Jake Ferguson had at least 11.9 PPR points. Now, Ferguson missed 3 games. Ferguson ended up playing with Cooper Rush. Nothing worked out. Dak Prescott has always featured his tight end. The sight that Dak Prescott has in the middle of the field is outstanding. Locates that tight end. Ferguson, very explosive player, great red zone option. And I know George Pickens, the wide receivers in the mix now with CeeDee Lamb. You're thinking targets might be an issue. Don't worry about that. Dallas should not have a sustaining rushing attack this year. They are going to have to throw the ball. Dak Prescott, remember, he has put up some monstrous numbers in his career in certain years. And this is the year where Dallas has the offensive firepower to take full advantage of Jake Ferguson, and you can get him inside the top 15 tight ends in drafts. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second to hit like and subscribe. It helps us keep the fantasy advice coming. If you want even more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we've got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You head to rotowire.com, you choose your subscription, and you use the code YouTube15 at checkout. Next tight end we like at RotoWire is David Njoku, going around tight end 9 in average drafts. Now, David Njoku played 11 games last year, so durability, and there's been on and off years where that's been an issue. But last year in those 11 games, 505 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was a solid number. His drops weren't great. He dropped 8% of his passes, and overall yards after the catch were a little bit down from his career norms. But it was a mess in Cleveland last year. And not that it'll be a whole lot better this year, but my hope is that Joe Flacco plays at least some, if not much, of the season. Because if you remember back a couple of years ago, late 2023, Joe Flacco was the quarterback. And the last 5 games that David Njoku played with Joe Flacco, Njoku was the overall tight end 1. And what did Njoku average in those 5 games? 7 catches, 93 yards, 0.8 of a touchdown, and 10 targets. Joe Flacco had an amazing chemistry with David Njoku, and even if you get that for half a season, that is worth buying into. The next tight end we like at RotoWire is Mason Taylor of the New York Jets, and Mason Taylor is drafted usually outside the top 24 tight ends. So if you're taking a dart throw super late, Mason Taylor could be your guy. Why? 2nd round draft pick of the Jets, but Mason Taylor projects to be a pure pass catcher, and the coaching staff has already said the plan is to get him on the field right away. And of course they want to, because Garrett Wilson's the number 1 receiver. After that, Josh Reynolds, not so much. Allen Lazard, please. Mason Taylor could easily be the 2nd option in this offense. But why would we trust Mason Taylor with Justin Fields? Well, here's why. In 2023, Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears, playing with Fields, had a career year. 73 catches, 719 yards, 6 touchdowns. We know the field vision for Justin Fields was very good in the middle of the field. That's where Mason Taylor plays. And again, as possibly the de facto number 2 pass catcher, we love Mason Taylor to outperform significantly that ADP.